I like your little like frame you got there.
Thank you.
Yeah, with your Burning Daylight and your Merica.
We got any audio on it yet?
There we go.
That's
We got a row.
All right, perfect.
like frame you got there.
Thank you. We got any audio on it yet? Perfect.
There we go.
All right, well, we're back at it now. Daylight Burners. Dan, thank you for the shirt. I appreciate her on the compliment. I love this shirt. It's a little old, but never gets old.
Never gets
And
old.
neither does the Declaration, and that's what we're going to read right now. So I will add some ad reads into this later, but for right now we're going to read, and we're going to talk a little bit about America, because this is the greatest goddamn country on the face of the planet. Every other country can eat a dick for today, because this is our day. America. Cheers,
America.
buddy. I've ever heard. It was awesome. Great wedding, great time. Everybody's a little worse for the wear today, but it was a good time.
Party.
Good time. And so we're gonna read the Declaration and then just shoot the shit for a minute. But when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinion of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which can impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem the most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and that accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably from the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. I don't know why I'm so nervous reading this right now, but
Nervous.
such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved the representative houses repeatedly, for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time, after such dissolutions, to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise. the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from within, or from without, and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws of naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of land. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone, and for the tenure of their offices and the amount of the payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices, sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us, in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. He has affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with others, subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution, and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation, for quartering large bodies of states, giving us of many cases the benefits of a trial by jury, abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government, and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule into these colonies, for taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our government, for suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, and burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny, and already begun with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages, and totally unworthy of the head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has excited domestic insurrections amongst us, and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers and merciless Indian savages. That wouldn't fly today. Whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and condition. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by a repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor have we been wanting in attentions to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. Yet we have reminded them of the circumstances of our immigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and we have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and consanguinity. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation, and hold them, as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace, friends. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states. They have absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states they should have full power to levy war and conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all their acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of the divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortune, and our sacred honor. Amen.
Amen.
God, I love this country. I really do.
Hell yeah.
I couldn't have imagined this time last year having such a great opportunity to be in a beautiful ranch here in Fromberg, Montana, with one of my new good buddies and my beautiful wife who's behind the camera here.
Faye.
She's shy.
They know that's not true.
I know. So, me and Jesse were talking a little earlier, and I truly believe that is one of the most important documents that we've ever seen. It was at the end of the day, it was those folks saying enough is enough. Fuck you, fuck your taxes, and fuck your standing army. We don't want it, and we're not going to be a part of you anymore. And it's led to this great experiment in self-governance, which we're kind of going down a wrong path. But all that aside, man, this country is awesome. Like, great people, and it's because for the most part we get to decide shit. What's the most American?
To carve your own way in whatever you so choose to do with your family, in complete freedom.
Yep.
And the opportunity to experience this great land and all of the fruits of your labor completely,
Yep.
and for yourselves and for your neighbor, and in community.
Yeah. I think
Without
community is really
hindrance.
important. Yeah, really important. Yeah, and you nail on the head there, man. It's just you are free to succeed or fail as far as you are willing to go. I mean, everybody has the opportunity, and some people don't have quite the same opportunity, but there's always the opportunity to just do your thing.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about this country. It's not that everybody is rich, but everybody has the opportunity to be rich. It's just how you capitalize on that, and
maybe how you define that too.
Yeah, exactly.
You could be rich with a quarter-acre garden and having barbecues every Sunday, and
the American dream means something different for everybody.
Yeah.
And these guys are building just a hellaciously awesome ranch, like with diversified operations, and you guys built it pretty well from nothing.
yeah.
The same with this podcast. I built it from nothing with a lot of help from my wife and Robbie and some other folks too. But here we are. We got 10,000 followers on Facebook. We've got a pretty rabid audience, and it's awesome. And
Hell yeah.
it's just I would say that's pretty successful. And it's all because we have the opportunity to do that. And,
Right.
And that's what this country's all about to me.
Yeah.
And we put these guns up here for a reason. Not only are they awesome, they're necessary. The Second Amendment was put in place to protect against a tyrannical government, and among that, it's the God-given right, natural right to protect yourself, whether that be from an intruder, whether it be from a bear.
Yeah.
This is Jesse's bear gun. or to fight back against your own government. And that is an invaluable right. And it's just, there's not any other country on earth that has that ability, and that's what makes this country so good. And it's we're all very, very fortunate, or in buzzwords of today, we're very privileged to live here.
Yeah.
And that's very true. I mean, we are incredibly privileged. Ro, can you move that camera up just a touch?
Yeah.
That'll work, I think.
Yeah.
Squeeze the tripod together a little bit, just to,
Make it tall.
yeah.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh, it's too much, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little
Tilt her
bit.
down. We got
Yeah.
a delay on the screen.
What about now?
I think that ought to
You
work.
think that'll do it?
I think so. But it's I don't know. We are truly blessed and privileged and lucky to live in this great country, and I just feel fortunate for
Yeah.
that, and I think everybody should. I mean, we have our issues, but there's not a better place in the world to set out on your own, raise a family, and build something for your own and your family.
Yeah.
And that's what we're all trying to do. And I wanted to take a little bit of time with my internet friend and talk about that and share this with you guys, because you guys have been awesome in your support. And happy Independence Day.
Hell yeah.
Go America.
America!
Don't blow your fingers off. And if you do, like,
Film it.
yeah, please film it.
We want to see it.
Be careful with the fires. Don't burn down your neighbor's house.
Neighborhood.
Yeah, but enjoy it.